today we have one of the tanks that I have been having in the background, and one of the tanks that I've really enjoyed playing throughout the years on World of Tanks console, and of course as one of the poster boys of the new Golden Week, which you can actually use my link to be able to get yourself a silver ticket. So I highly recommend you do that. I will leave it in the description and I'll pin a comment so you'll be able to use the code on the Golden Week. So you'll be able to go on there, you get a silver ticket and you can get some silver, you can get some a potential chance of getting premium tanks for just logging in as well. So yeah, really worth your time. Either way though, this video is about the Senshi STA2, or basically the STA2, they're the same tank. This one is of course just a skinned version which gets the Japanese flag draped over the back of the turret, and of course this kind of digital camo that you get as part of it too. But one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the SDA2 in general is this fast fire rate, high kind of rate of fire, and also high penetration that allows you to basically rinse apart any tank within tier 8, and often a lot of the times even higher tier vehicles are going to be able to come away feeling a little bit worse for wear when you are using this thing correctly. And yeah, so far we've taken this kind of aggressive push in the middle. I don't like pushing up too far because of course you can get hit in the side by things like the stockade for example, and of course anyone camping at the back. And with the team not having won the town yet, I'm not particularly convinced that we're going to be able to, successfully push these two medium tanks that are next to me and also not get hit from everyone else. So yeah, staying a little bit more passive to begin with, not a bad thing to do on this map, and of course you'll be able to come away with some more consistent games than you would if you tried to push in like you saw with the CS52 list just a second ago. But either way, the team appear to be winning in the town, so now it's just a case of maintaining this position for the moment, whilst also keeping an eye on the western part of the map, because of course the enemy team are winning the valley. And although winning the valley doesn't really mean much on Lake Will, since it's a really easy defense, and you'll see that as we move forward within this game, it still is something that you don't want to get kind of leave unnoticed, because you're going to have to go back, and it's often when you try and go back that you can get punished within this map. But now that the friendly team have actually taken out quite a few of the enemy tanks, we can actually push in, and we find ourselves a little Indian Panzer who's obviously a okay vehicle. It's nothing absolutely spectacular or anything like that, but it still is a tank that you have to be a little bit wary of, since it gets 20 alpha damage and is quite consistent in being able to deal with that damage. So either way, just now trying to finish off these couple of tanks doesn't look like it's going to be all too difficult to be able to do. We're just planning these heat rounds straight through the front of the turret of the Indian Panzer. Probably can just pen him with standard rounds, but I mean at this point I'm just trying to get as much damage as possible and also get as much assistance too, whilst also seeing if we can spot anyone who's also over here. This player's only been playing for 1 year by the looks of it, with his 1 year badge. Unfortunately we've been playing for considerably longer, unfortunately, at least in terms of how many hours I've played this game. But either way, we're now taking the short road back to the cap circle so we can hopefully defend and therefore come away with victory, since we don't want to lose to anything like cap or anything like that. But because the speed of the STA2 is really good, you've got about 50 kilometers an hour, means that yeah, you don't really struggle with regards to kind of mobilizing yourself around the map, and it's actually pretty easy to be able to do so. So what we do is we go after, we're trying to support up this Dragon, but realise it's actually really low, and with just an artillery piece over here and a Somnia and a Dreadnought coming, yeah, it's not looking all too good. We try and place around into the Dreadnought, and uh-oh, this is really not good, because the SDA2 does not have any armor, and then of course there's the shell on the Dreadnought. But unfortunately for him, he does come and keep coming around, so yeah, he doesn't have the best turret traverse, and unfortunately for him, he gets taken out too. But yeah, at this point, because we delayed so much time in trying to go for the Dreadnought and having missed that shell because we were auto-aiming, it's now looking like the Somnia or the Paladin are just going to keep coming around. Now, me, in my infinite wisdom, thought, you know what, maybe we can use the wreck of the dreadnought to kind of get up from behind, but of course he's in the annoying position whereby, yeah, you're not able to reliably get any kind of gun depression over the back of him, and the paladin does exactly what he should be doing, it's just going. And unfortunately for us, although we do have good penetration, we do manage to hit the gun there of him, and then we load the heat rounds to try and get one into him. Our team is going to come away with a victory, but of course, alas, it is not the case, and we end up losing, but it doesn't matter a whole lot since we picked up a decent amount of damage, and it was really the paladin and the astronaut on the enemy team that actually came away with the victory, but nonetheless a decent result with 3,700 damage. And yeah, I mean, let's jump into the next one because this showcases a little bit of something else within the Senshi STA2, and that game is on Prokhorovka, probably one of the best spotting maps you can possibly get in World of Tanks, but in this one in particular we're going to see us utilise that spotting potential to come away with a good result, because although the Senshi STA2 has very good damage per minute, you don't always have to use it, and with the 490 meters of view range that we get with this tank when it's set up with binoculars, and all of the crew perks that are possible to boost up the view range, yeah, I mean, maxing out at 490, it means that you can spot a ton of vehicles, and you really don't have a problem with spotting anything that might hit you, of course, and spotting things that are in bushes, stuff like that. It's just super easy to be a bit of a spotter within this game. But you're seeing here, managing to find the Vengeance on the right hand side of the map, and also able to find this standard B and keep him lit up. But at this point I'm thinking, you know what, I don't want to get spotted over here. It looks like the team are not actually going to be over on this side where we are right now, and they are in fact over in the bushes at JK2 and 3, which is of course a good position if you're in a tank destroyer, but probably not if you're in a top tier heavy. But apparently the entire team sat back there, so either way we're not going to try and take on the whole of the enemy team over on the right hand side. We're going to move into this position and hopefully be able to spot for the team to get some assistance and come away with a game that we won't be that dissatisfied with, even if the team are trying their best to make it a difficult situation to carry in. But considering that this is a team, well, essentially an assault game mode where we have to push or at least go towards the cap circle, then yeah, it really is about kind of getting forward and trying to spot the opponents, because if we don't, we're just going to lose to not having capped or at least dealt enough damage to remove all of the enemies in the game, which is one of the most unbalanced things about assault, is that even if there is one tank left alive and there might be 10 tanks on your team, you still lose because you didn't cap all the off. But either way, we find the first 500 assistance damage within this game, which is fantastic, exactly what we wanted, and I will not be complaining in the slightest. And when you do get these sorts of games where you're able to consistently remain the furthest forward and with the view range that a tank like this gets, yeah, you can just keep on being that forward force and you may be able to clinch a few rounds into vehicles that maybe didn't understand, and that way you're able to just remain consistent but also remain a vehicle that is constantly keeping up the good fight against the opponents, and therefore, you know, supporting your team in as big of a way as possible. And the Senshi STA2 is exactly that. It is not a brawling medium tank. You are no 140 or something like that, or the 430U. You are literally a typical tank, and so you just need to be very careful with how you play this vehicle. You definitely don't want to be going in willy-nilly against vehicles like heavies or any of the higher tier vehicles that you might meet, which is why we're staying quite far back but close enough to the point where we can get some assistance from our team. And you can see us are getting a little bit unlucky against the CS52 as he snaps us and manages to pen as he's pulling over the railway tracks. But either way, this Vengeance, for some reason, deciding that he's going to continue over those railway tracks, and it's not ending up very well for him. There's someone on the hill that manages to hit us, but obviously not for very much, so I'm expecting that it is a light tank or a low tier TD. But either way, now it's time to try and spot over on this side, this IS-6, but unfortunately for us, it's actually in a bit of an annoying spot. But it doesn't matter a whole lot, we're able to deal one shell of damage to the EBR who we managed to spot, and now we're getting pumped from the hill. Looks like it's an autoloader or something, and of course takes our engine out, and this is something that the STA2 does usually have to deal with, is the engine isn't particularly the greatest on this vehicle, so you do get spotted, and when you do get hit with this tank you do lose that engine quite consistently, which is yeah, I mean, it's less than satisfactory, shall we say. But either way, I really enjoy this tank. It is necessarily one of the most broken vehicles or anything like that. No one is going to be coming out and saying that the STA2 is a ridiculously overpowered tank or a broken tank that is really annoying to play against. This tank is very much a medium tank enjoyer's vehicle that, you know, you can have some really good games with this thing, but it does take a little bit of skill. It isn't just a skillless vehicle that you can kind of just roll around with. It's not particularly the most forgiving tank, since if you get caught out you usually pay for it quite heavily, and so yeah, it's just about being very careful with this tank, but also, you know, playing it in both the role of being a damage dealer when you can, but mainly being a support vehicle in the way that you can spot opponents and help them out in that regard. And you can see there the IS-6 getting taken out as well. And just by being the furthest forward vehicle, we've been able to pick up 4,000 assistance damage, and with the view range of this tank I'm not surprised, alongside 1,600 actual damage, which is by no means bad either. And that's exactly what you want when you think of vehicles like this, and hopefully it's been an interesting one for you guys to actually jump in and watch, because it's very rare that these sorts of vehicles usually get showcased. And it's probably because they're not that overpowered or anything like that. But you can see us loading the HE round here for the equaliser. It's probably worth just firing the normal round and then shooting again. But either way, we now just have one vehicle left on the enemy team. It's a Draugen. Does appear like he hasn't been spotted a whole lot throughout this game, so hopefully he's on a decent chunk of hit points and we can maybe farm up a little bit of damage. But either way, I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this and some of the rewards that you can get from the Golden Week as well, because you can get premium tanks out of those golden kind of cases, or at least spins that you can get, and golden tickets. And of course, let me know if you've been able to get a golden ticket on the first day. It is a random drop as to whether or not you're going to be able to get a golden ticket. The silver tickets are more common than the golden ones, so I'm not surprised. But either way, I did get a silver one, and we didn't get particularly anything interesting, but you can still get low tier premiums within the silver tickets, so even if you do get one, it's not the worst case scenario. So just keep an eye out, and hopefully, fingers crossed for you guys, that you'll also be able to get a premium tank out of the code for the Golden Week in the comment section. And of course, in the description of the video, you'll find my code and the link to the website too. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really enjoy the Essentially STA2, and yeah, hopefully you do too. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and don't forget to check out the news video where all of the information for this week is covered, and I hope I'll see you in that one. Goodbye.